I go to bed hungry most nights. The nights where there is food, I share it with my 4-year-old sister Callie. People think I'm anorexic, but I'm not. I'm hungry. I don't like being hungry. It makes me feel alone and tired and scared. I wish more people knew about this. I wish more people would listen. I wish I wasn't so invisible. Will you listen to me? 'Cause what I want to say is, even in a rich state, maybe especially in the richest state, even here, there is poverty. There is hunger. It's hidden in plain sight. And although it isn't seen or heard, it's real. My hunger is as real as I am. Just because you can't see it, just because my pain is invisible, like the aching in my body, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because hunger is invisible. It's about what you don't have, what you long for. Food. And like poverty, it strikes at your heart and where you live. For us, here, in this place of abundance, it's like the dream is just out of reach. It's right over there, but you just can't get there. There's an emptiness that fills your soul and drains your spirit.
My future is a dim flashlight at the end of a tunnel, at the bottom of a wishing well. This life is a half-burned candle, secret sealed into wax. Don't worry, we're already in hell. My body is weak from the struggle, bones aching from the weight of the world. Duct tape to my back, these streets show no mercy. Take 2 steps forward and you're pushed 3 back. Footsteps away from paradise in this maze. We're just mice. We're footsteps away from paradise. And you say we're alright. We're footsteps away from paradise.
Access Community Action Agency was born 50 years ago this week as part of President Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. Access has been there ever since, helping thousands of clients in pockets of poverty throughout eastern Connecticut overcome adverse economic conditions and a lack of opportunity. For those in need, Access is always there. The Community Action Agency has a long history of helping 28 communities in Windham and Tolland counties provide food for the neediest and assist thousands more with food insecurity. Each one of Access's clients has a story to tell. This is Access's story. The history of community action is bound in the humanitarian principles that form a bedrock value of the American experience. In 1964, the U.S. Congress passed the Economic Opportunity Act, otherwise known as EOA, as a companion to the Civil Rights Act, which guaranteed equal opportunity for all. And so began a set of federal initiatives known as the War on Poverty. To carry out this endeavor at the local level, more than 1,000 community-based organizations called Community Action Agencies were created. I hope it may be said 100 years from now that by working together, we help to make our country more just for all of its people. The best of American life cries for it. During the mid-1960s in eastern Connecticut, there was an ever-widening gap between the rich and the poor. This was most evident in inner cities, but was ever growing in the rural areas of this country and state. Action needed to be taken. The economic impact of the implosion of the textile industry in New England, especially in eastern Connecticut, has left a gap that affects families in this area even today. The once thriving businesses in the state have been replaced with healthcare and casinos, while education and government are the major sources of employment, leaving a gap for 28 towns that Access provides services. When the war on poverty began 50 years ago, it spawned Access to fight this battle on a local level and began a movement that is resonating to this day, a movement that promotes activism to help overcome poverty. It took on poverty, homelessness, and hunger, and at the time caused an outbreak of hope across the nation. It also led to the greatest reduction of poverty nationwide in a 5-year period during the history of the United States. At its best, the programs made available through Access have directly made people feel, I am worthy, there are possibilities for my future, and I can be great. Tammy Miner is the current chair of the board of directors for Access. She lives in Plainfield and has been on the board for the past 5 years. She knows what it is like to be on her own and struggling with an uncertain future. She lived in Access supporting housing in Danielson from the age of 12 to 18. Hawkins House gave her the foundation that has helped make her the success she is today. The direction and support available through many of Access's programs allowed Tammy to succeed through her own hard work and her own drive. These programs helped provide Tammy with hope at a time in her life when she had very little.
I think it is challenging because you have to try to find and hold on to that one little glimmer of hope just to pull yourself through. But I think you also need to have courage so that when that opportunity comes, you can actually see it and grab it. And I think that's a lot of the problems people in poverty have, is that, well, what if I grab onto that and it doesn't work out? I mean, if you have nothing and you grab onto it and you end up with nothing, you're kind of in the same spot. But I think it's that if I do grab onto it and it goes somewhere and then I end up in the same spot, then what? What does that make me?
Now she's giving back by being a vital member of the Access Board. The bylaws of the board require it be made up of an equal number of elected officials or their representatives, private local businesses and organizations, and an equal number of low-income residents who Access serves. Today, Access continues to be guided by the same founding principles as they work hard to meet basic human needs. In fact, as the Action Agency has evolved, it has come to embrace this core mission.
The mission of the Access Community Action Agency is to create opportunities that empower individuals, families, and communities to become more economically stable. So that's a pretty broad umbrella. It really focuses around that issue of fighting poverty. I like to say our tagline is partnering to fight poverty, because that's really what we're about. The programs and services we provide really range from meeting basic human needs to helping people build capacity to accumulate income and assets. And so those programs include our emergency shelter, which houses families and individuals. We have a WIC program, which provides nutrition information and healthy food vouchers to young families. We provide affordable housing for seniors and for families in the Willimantic and Danielson area. We also provide our well-known fuel assistance program, which served over 8,000 households this past year and does that every year. Another important program that we have traditionally provided is Emergency Food Pantry, which provides supplemental food for families who are struggling to make ends meet. And then recently we've been able to acquire a mobile pantry, which allows us to bring food out to communities We know that transportation is a challenge here in the northeast part of the state, and so we're working more and more to try to bring our services to people in their home communities, and so that mobile food pantry allows us to do that.
Through the direction, innovation, and generosity of a grant proposed by DiBiase, Access has begun a mobile food van to deliver to the neediest of Connecticut's food-insecure population in the rural eastern parts of the state. Many queue up at the van in towns like Sterling and Stafford Springs and wait alongside it as if it were an ice cream truck. Kim Brule has worked for Access Agency for 16 years now and hands out the food with the care and the discerning detail of an emergency room nurse, knowing what each family needs and zeroing in on what each child wants. Some clutch cookies as if they were gold. Others, like Callie, run away with a big bag of red apples as if they are floating on air. To them, fruit is better than candy, apples better than ice cream, anything better than nothing. It is food, the fuel of life. And their parents' anguish, if just for a moment, is extinguished by Access Food Van's presence.
As I think about and reflect on the work that we do, hope is really such an important part. It's that seed that we help to plant for people, because we're trying to do more than just put a Band-Aid on the situation. We're really trying to find ways to have long-term impact on families and individuals and communities. We're trying to figure out a way to really help people help themselves in a way that's going to be sustained over time, ways that's going to strengthen their family, to be self-reliant, and to be connected to the community in a healthy way, person by person, family by family, that gets us to that end result that we're looking for.
"70-year-old Richard Lang can't wait till the visitors come. He's been in a wheelchair much of his adult life and needs the assistance. Access helps provide him with services and has weatherized his home to keep him warm and help him cope with rising fuel costs. He is grateful, soulful, and is visited frequently because Access is there. Every day," says Richard, "I look forward to visitors. They keep me going. They are the highlight of my day." Melody and her merry band of 7 children spill throughout the house and onto the yard every day. They are homeschooled and are often hungry. It is not unusual for the brood to climb trees to their highest heights or swing on their swings at frightfully dangerous angles. Their father, Ron, must drive 3 hours to work each day. His work week is over 80 hours, leaving the lion's share of childcare to Mom Melody. Without Access's help, the family would have a shortfall every month. The house would be cold and the children would go hungry. They visit Access's mobile food van every 2 weeks. Access also provided the funds to cart off old discarded items such as mattresses and electronic junk. The agency not only supplements daily needs, it makes basic survival for this family possible. "We're all just one paycheck short of disaster," says Ron. Access brings us up to zero every month.
It's crazy because I know that there were homeless shelters, but never in a million years did I think I would ever end up in one. But it's a learning experience that I've never known what it feels like to be like this. You know, and it's made me more humble, and it's made me have more respect for, like, say, somebody that does have a sign trying to get money just to get their next meal. I understand more now. I see it from their point of view. I won't lie. I used to be guilty of looking at them like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, sure.
But now I see it from their point of view, and it sucks. It would be nice, if, people would take the time to try to take a walk in our shoes, just for a day.
May Flexer of Danielson is a 3-term state representative from the 29th District. Last November, she won her first term as a district state senator. Senator Flexer is one of the youngest state senators in Connecticut. She has spent her whole life in Eastern Connecticut and has been an Access Board member for 10 years. In addition to putting herself through college, she worked 3 jobs to do so. Now she works hard to help those in her district afford college, afford homes, and deal with poverty on a state level.
In my life living here in northeastern Connecticut, I've definitely seen, how much it affects people to be struggling and living in poverty, and how difficult that can be. But I've also seen a community that stands up and tries to support people to make their lives better. And the Access Agency fills a huge need. They provide people with the tools to move out of poverty, to begin to be self-sustaining and to make sure they get the support while they're struggling, but to turn their lives around. They provide a critical set of resources that if they didn't exist, we'd all be worse off. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I'm just a poor girl from Danielson who now gets to have this amazing job where I get to give back to my community and learn about new things on a daily basis and be an advocate for people that might not have a voice.
I'm a simple person. I don't need much, me. That's what I always say, don't need much, me. No. I need to help people. Yeah, the food pantry is, I like the food pantry, I do. But the food van, it's almost like they're like my people now. I always say, it's funny, it's like someday if they told me that nobody was going to be hungry anymore, so you don't have a job, I would say that's fine, and I'll go get another job. So that's what I would like. I would like to not have to have this as my vocation anymore. That would be good. That's, I think, what we should strive to do, is if everybody could make enough money, not that we should all be rich, because money doesn't mean anything to me. As long as I can eat and be warm, I'm happy. Take a ride in my car. That's what it is. I want to be put out of a job. That's it. I want to be put out of a job. I don't want people to need me to bring them that.
You can sometimes look but not see, hold but not feel, listen but not hear. Access hopes. It imagines and it seeks to provide access to the American dream. With its amazing workers and volunteers, it has been achieving these ideals for the past 50 years. It is their desire to provide hope so that the invisible poor can be seen, their suffering can be felt, and their voices can be heard. It takes partnering to achieve it, vision to believe it, and action to deliver it. Access is as vital to Eastern Connecticut as the residents they serve. Access Community Action Agency commemorates 50 years in the quiet corner of Connecticut.
I'm Jen Philly. I'm 15, and I do know what it's like to be hungry.
Jen is just old enough to realize how her parents truly struggle and how it weighs on their souls to not be able to provide for their 3 children. They live in a modest home in Sterling and hope for the best, just footsteps from neighbors who are very well off. They feel the struggle with what they don't have individually, but as a family unit they are solid, despite many, many medical setbacks and issues. They are strong, they are going to survive, and access is always there.
As a growing teenager, 15 years old, freshman in high school, I'm developing, and you're gonna get hungry and you're gonna wanna eat. I went, the entire summer, so about 4 months, without, the amount of food that normal kids have. And as of right now, we're doing okay. In that time frame when I was, hungry, I thought it was never gonna happen, that we were never gonna be happy. But you just can't do that to yourself. You need to think, it will be okay and it will be over. So I was hungry. I know what it's like, and it's gonna get better.